tonight we have one of the, I would say, the best players, certainly the best defender that the Welsh Premier League has seen. Welsh International, semi-pro international, league winner, Welsh Cup winner, League Cup, European appearances, goals added to his game. Always goes on about his goals he scored in Europe. Fantastic leader, captain. Welcome, Steve Evans.
Cheers, Scotty, lad.
How you doing? Okay.
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad.
Good. So if we go all the way back to the start, your first memories of football, what got you into it? What made you love football? And what put you on the path that you're on today?
Yeah, early part was the old man. Weren't a bad player, to be fair. Me and my brother, every Saturday, Sunday, back then you could go watch him play and you'd just be left to your own devices. You'd be, 4, 5, 6 years of age. You'd be on the pitch and you'd be messing about with your mates and whatnot. But that they're the first memories. Good times, so played at a reasonable standard. So, and then just me and my brother, in the garden. I always used to have to go and get against my brother, and I couldn't get the ball off him usually, so I used to have to kick him. So that's probably where the defensive side come from. So they were the very early days. I remember, and like I say, just grew from there. Local youth football, Broughton Villa. So I signed under 10s. I was the younger one, and to be fair, luckily we had a good team. And there's a few good teams around that at the time. You had the likes of Garden Village, where I live, with Neil Roberts, playing for them. Druids, where you had Dave Hughes. You had a lot of good teams at the time. So it was a good period. It developed you, but it was good times.
If you're all looking back at early memories on television, the games you used to watch, the players you'd see, the players you'd think, I'd like to be that player. Who were those? Who were those men?
At the time, you'd look at, Mark Hughes and that, but as a centre half, Tony Adams. As I got a little bit older, when I first went to West Brom, I remember Richard Kelly always telling me, when you're watching a game, look at the centre halves, how they play, what they do, what they're doing off the ball. And so then as you progress, you look at Rio Ferdinand and John Terry.
Yeah,
two very good players, to be fair. That was when I was out of the game, So, but when I was younger, it would, you look at Tony Adams.
Who did you enjoy watching? Who was your team? I know you like Spurs. I don't know where Spurs is.
Like I say, I'm not one of these avid fans, So, but when I was growing up, the favourite player probably Zidane, just because he had everything.
Really?
He had everything.
One of my favourites, yeah.
Unbelievable player.
Yeah. So if we look at, you've progressed, you've played local football. When did you start to think, actually, I'm not bad, I've got a chance in the game, people are watching me here? What was the next step for you after sort of local football?
Yeah, well, it's the same as most. You get in the schoolboys, you go to the secondary school, you get in the schoolboys, you get in the district team for your Saturday team. And I think you remember Derek Mann.
Yeah.
You remember Derek Mann? Scouts. So I was playing for the schoolboys and got asked to go to West Brom. So as under 15s, went there, not under 14s, under 15s, went to West Brom, and done well, and, just going down on the train on a Friday night, Saturday, play on a Saturday or Sunday, and then travel back as a 15-year-old. Good experience. You know, I remember once going down in my West Brom tracksuit, and I got on the train. I think it was Tuesday. I got off at Tuesday and got back on, and a load of Villa fans were on the train, and they given me a bit of stick. I was in the same carriage. I was 14, 15, I think I was. I got off the train, sprinted up the escalators, and went and stood by a copper. Yeah, that was a good experience. So
good rivalry all the way back then, yeah.
Yeah. So, like I say, that was the time, and then you go down. You did well. I used to play for the older groups, and then YTS. So when you're 16, went away from home. Not a lot of people. Well, not a lot of people know this. Went to West Brom and didn't really enjoy it, if I'm perfectly honest. I enjoyed the football and doing the football, but I missed home. I was a bit of a home bird kind of thing. I know
this. No, I know this because we've discussed this before. So, time again. If you'd have had someone saying, "Look, give it a bit of time, knuckle down," pushing you probably a little bit more, do you think that would have helped, or were you just the opinion that I need to be back home?
No, I think. When I weren't at home, I was grand when I was down there, but I did miss home, you know. And I wanted, like I've said to reviews before, wanted everything there and then. And you know, like I said, sometimes I'm a big believer in things happen for a reason. You know, your paths sometimes go off the path and then you get back on it. But yeah, I think possibly it would have helped. You know. Bit more strict, you know, from I don't know, I say my dad, but you know, I truly believe if I wouldn't have took the path I took in them early years, I would never have done what I did in the later years. So yeah, that was it. I went to West Brom, was there, like I say, wanted everything there and then, and give it all up, give football up, just. You know, went home. I remember standing on Wolverhampton train station. Used to play with a lad called Scotty, funny enough. And we're there, and he asked me to go to. He lived in Stoke, so he asked me to go there, and I said, "No, I'm going home." I went home and didn't go back. So that was look back. One mistake, one decision. I wish I could have changed, but then, like I've just said, things happen for a reason, and I possibly wouldn't have done what I did in the later years then.
Okay, so you've left West Brom there, you're back at home, you feel more comfortable. What are the next steps then, football-wise? Do you feel the love? Do you feel, because you're happy there, who did you go and play for then when you came back home?
I just went to play local football. My dad was managing a local team. Went to play there. Not sure I should say this story, but I was playing, had an altercation on the pitch and got banned for a couple of years, you know, and didn't play football for good 2 or 3 years. So I had a lot of time out the game, had a lot of time to think.
Yeah.
You know, and then obviously come back, went to got myself fit, and went on trial at Crewe.
So yeah, bit of reflection time, bit of still thinking that I still want to have a role in football. I still want to get
like I say, I went off that path when I made up wrong decisions, but then, you know, knuckled down, got myself fit again, and like I say, got back on that path, and went to trial for Crewe. They offered me a contract, but I was still banned. It was either they had to see if they could get the ban lifted, couldn't get it lifted, and that was that. So that's where I ended up at TNS. A couple of months later, my brother was playing for them.
Yeah.
And I went training. And obviously they wanted to sign me.
Yeah, 19?
Yeah, 18. 19. 19, I think it was, yeah. 19. So went training. I think it was February 99 or 2000, one of the years. It's that long ago, I can't remember. And they signed, then they got me ban lifted and I signed. And in that season, I signed February, I think it was, played the last 14 games, scored on my debut. Signed as a centre half. Kalo put me on up front. I think, were you playing in that game, Scotty, when I chested it down or avoided it in the corner against Newtown?
No, I wasn't there then, was I? I think you'd been a year there before when I was coming. So if you're looking at TNS, what was it like back then? All part-time? All part-time boys coming in?
Yeah. All part-time, first of all. Training on a Tuesday, Thursday night. Andy Kell was the manager. Macca might have been his assistant, or Breezy was his assistant first of all, and then the next season Macca was the assistant, then manager. But yeah, so like I say, played the last 14 games, didn't lose a game, and then won the league. And the last day of the season without playing because Barry drew or lost to Connors Quay.
Connors Quay, wasn't it?
Yeah, and we were all in the stands, and then we all ended up on the pitch.
Yeah.
So it was good times, and you look at the characters. I was a young lad. I had my brother. I had Arwell. I had Timmy Edwards, Gary Evans, Gary Powell, Mark Powell.
A lot of older, experienced campaigners.
Yeah.
With nice, with know-how and stuff.
It was brilliant for me. Like I come in, I played alongside Timmy for that first season, for the majority, and it was a great learning curve for me. I was just happy to play football again. I didn't really understand the potential I had in them early years, but Andy Cale, first of all, taught me so much. I learned so much. I was like a sponge, and yourself from your experience. I've had some good coaches, but as a coach, the best, just simplified everything, made, and I used to question everything. I used to ask questions. He just used to make you understand things. So then were the easy early days, and then Macca took over, and I probably made him go grey earlier than what he needed to. But like I say, I weren't the easiest to manage back then. I was young, excitable, and when we started to go full time, which you were part of, it was tough. There'd be 5, 6, 7 of you training, no equipment, using.
Well, I've discussed this. I've discussed it because I did a podcast the other day with the Dragon's Voice, I think it is, and it was just one where I was saying about the goal nets. We take the goal nets, put them on the local council would come and say, you can't train here. People look at me and go, you're joking. Bin bags, because we haven't got bins. There was what, 5 of us, 6 of us maybe, transitioning from full-time, part-time boys were coming in. It was just, if anyone looked back then, it'd be like, you've got no chance. You've got no chance of building anything. And if you think you're going to take over Barry Town, then you got another thing coming. But what's your first thoughts of it as a young player there? Were you thinking, oh, this is good? Oh, what are we doing? What sort of,
like I say, I give it all up, didn't I? So I didn't really go through the full YTS and all that. So I was just happy to be back playing football. Yourself, I just turn up, give me all, train in them early days. Not really, because you didn't think about it. You're just happy to be there, train, Stocky Lodge, getting chased off one council pitch, going a couple of miles down the road to another council pitch.
Monday mornings when we see the polls, when we come in, we drive in, and it'd be like another 12-minute run. Every single Monday morning, 12-minute run.
They weren't good, especially when I used to get lapped by you, you and Tosh. But like I say, you look back at them, and then we go back to Kenny Mack, and unbelievable. Like I say, you've got your own, what he did for you, but what that man did for me, in terms of, we talked about, that father figure, the things he did for me, I would never have gone on to do what I did if it weren't for Kenny Mack.
Well, he believes in you. He believed in what you could do, and he wanted to make you better, didn't he? And if you've got coaches and managers like that, then you then repay them, don't you?
Yeah.
You only one can look at it.
I am, like, I lead, if you can get players to run through brick walls for you, you've got half a chance. And I would run through brick wall for that man, to be fair. He's
great.
Top man, top friend, and in them early days especially, he got a grip of me, made me realise what football was, what I had, the talent I had, and it took a season and a half, to be fair, but once I did knuckle down, yeah, you're right, I did start to repay him and repay TNS. And to be fair, I got to give Mike Harris as well props for that as well, because the two of them looked after me, and like I say, got me playing to the standard they knew I could.
And that's why they give you a few more chances than the normal player would have, and that's not saying anything out of turn. Just going on to Kenny there, it's a shame that we couldn't work together again, because he was going to come in with me and you. He was going to come in with me and you, wasn't he? As part of a role at the club. And it's one thing which I'd have liked to have done, because as I was speaking to Kenny for the last 6 months, a year, and it was one where I was excited by it, but obviously that didn't happen. But who knows? One day we might work again. Anyway, it's one of those, isn't it?
Yeah, like I say, I hold Macca there, like, to be fair. So, like I said, he got me to basically where I went, because it made me realise what I had, and that's why for him, and like obviously Kalo as well, with coaching, and but that got me to move to Wrexham, because we played Liverpool, and it was a perfect game for me. That was didn't have to move off my 18-yard box, and just had to defend. And like I say, like them games I used to thrive in, because I could read the game. I've never been quick, that. I can kick it in the stand a couple of times, but I can head the ball. But that game got me my move, I think, because it was perfect. Just shuffle them side to side, squeeze a little bit. I did relatively well in it. But
is that, if you're looking at highlights, you've had lots of league wins, cup games, highlights from your playing days. Is that just at TNS at the moment? We haven't moved on to anywhere else, but was that your highlight, or was there other European games that you thought, this is a good test, this is a good challenge? Or was it Liverpool?
The European games, like I said, I remember I'll tell you a little story now. I think, did you come to Amakoronki?
Yeah, it was the first European one, I think, yeah.
It was my second one. And we're all there, and we, and Gordo, if nobody knows Gordo, he's the kit man and, the life and soul of the dressing room. And even back then. And we're all, this is how unprofessional it was back then. We finished training, and he upset one of the older players, and they all got him, and they stripped him naked.
Chased him around the pitch.
He was running around the training ground pitch. That's how unprofessional it was back then. But like I say, there's small steps to make it. It's got to where TNS is today. But yeah, Liverpool was the highlight. Probably for yourself as well. Unbelievable. Standing in that tunnel before walking out at Anfield and listening to the cop sing "You'll Never Walk Alone," standing next to Hippier, and just I thought I was tall, but he is a unit. That's something we'll cherish forever. And Anderlecht was decent. Anderlecht as well. We won't talk about Mitchell and Day, Scotty.
Well, I was just about to say that was when we were introduced to Lukaku.
Oh yeah.
Was he 17 years of age?
Yeah, something like that.
0-0 at the time he came on and got a couple, didn't he?
Yeah. I'm going to blame me dead leg. I just got a dead leg, and next thing Lukaku comes on, and I'm marking him in the box. There's a cross ready to come in, so the ball comes in, and I just go thinking I'll just hold him out the way, but it's a run past me because there's nobody behind me. So I do that. Next thing he just goes, get out the way, chests it, and volleys it in the top corner. I think even H was trying to get out the way of it. Yeah. And
I remember him coming on.
I was like, then I've had enough. Bring me off.
I remember him coming on, standing by him, looking up, and just the size of his feet, the build of him, he was awesome on it. He was just a good power, even back then, So
I tried to hold him off, he just went, get off, chest, bang, volley goal. So.
European goals, you scored a few goals?
Only a few.
Favourites? Have you got a favourite European goal that you scored?
Four. I think I've got four. Yeah, four I've scored. Forget who they're against, Scotty.
You scored against
Fram.
Bohemians. You scored against Bohemians. Fram, Reykjavik.
And who was the other one? Was it Helsingborg? No, not Helsingborg. Who was it?
The Swedish side. Did you score?
Yeah. We went 1-0. It was Michelin, sorry.
Michelin.
Yeah, Michelin. Yeah. That was it. Yeah, it's probably the worst thing I could have done. We were comfortable for about 30 minutes. I went and scored, and the next thing, they went into third gear. I went bang, 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 goal. Bang, 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 goal. And then it went back into first gear. Yeah.
Great nights, European nights. That's what we play for. It's what you try and win the league for. You try and tell the players, this is what you play league football for. This is what you play in the Welsh Premier for, to go and play Champions League games. And sometimes you speak to them, and as if are they realising that the impact it has, on the football club and on them as well. But new players, they're like, I'll have a bit of this. And it's hard to consistently do that and then come back for pre-season, isn't it, for a league campaign. And that's why I think TNS have always stuttered a little bit and then gone on and done okay around Christmas and whatever else.
Yeah, like I say, people used to say, you're only having 3 weeks off, but we've lived that life for nearly enough 20 years, where you finish the season, 3 or 4 weeks off, and then you're back into it. But the reason TNS have had so much success, I believe, is because they do the work day in, day out. And that mentality of, the bread and butter kind of day in, day out, when you're playing and you're going away to the likes of Avonlea back then, and getting results, they're the ones that win you the league. The big games back then, Barry, then this day and age, Connors Key, the big games take care of themselves. It's the bread and butter day in, day out, week in, week out, getting them results are the key to winning the league and winning the cups and that.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
So any You've talked about Europe. You've talked about your goals. You had some great games in Europe. Probably 20 odd games, is it, in Europe?
I wouldn't know. Scotty.
Lots of ties. Lots of ties. If you look at highlights, league memories, Welsh Cup, League Cups, won a lot of League Cups. Just looking back at how many you've actually won and stuff, like, is it 8 or 9? It's probably 5 or 6 League Cups. There's 4 Welsh. There's lots there. Is there any ones that stand out there where you thought, we've done well this season? Was there a time where you thought, we're pretty good as a team, we're pretty good as a unit, I've had a real good season? Or do they all just mould into one?
Yeah, I'd say possibly mould into one. Before I went to Wrexham, I think it was the season before I went, we were unbelievable. I think it was that, with yourself, Johnny Lee, Nails, Wardy, Tosh, Pep. We had a great team, to be fair. And I was listening to somebody the other day, I think it was Venners, saying it'd be interesting to see the teams back then against the teams now. Yeah. Physically, I think probably the teams are better now, more professionalism and all that. But like I said, I think he said it himself, it's the know-how and all that back then. It'd be interesting. But as you know, the teams we've had at TNS have been first class. When I first come back from Wrexham, I think it was that season where we 13 league goals, 29 clean sheets or 24 clean sheets. I can't remember the exact figure, but we're unbelievable. So, like I say, they do all kind of merge into one, but some great memories, to be fair. Some great memories.
If we go on to the chance to better yourself, the chance to move somewhere else, did you have a chance earlier on than Wrexham to go somewhere else? Or was Wrexham the right time, right stage of your career, and the right choice?
Yeah, it was the right time because it was a great move. But I think, as you know, it was difficult to leave the Tins in terms of contract-wise and all that. So it'd always be left to the last minute. And then you weren't on much money. So you had to sign again. And then I was always in the non-league Welsh squad. And whilst I was there, I'd get a few people asking, but I'd always have to say I've just signed for TNS because I had to, because of money and all that. And so, yeah, earlier on I had a few like people sniffing round and a few offers, but nothing ever concrete because of contract situation, because I'd always contracted to TNS.
Did you have an agent? Did you have an agent while you were at TNS?
No. I only ever had one agent, and that was in my last year, Wrexham, which didn't really help me. So I don't really believe in them. You go and sort yourself out. So where was I, mate?
Wrexham. The Wrexham move. How did it?
So like I said, on the back of the Liverpool game and that season, got offered and obviously agreed to go. And then without, like I just explained, without TNS do the contracts, I'm sure I heard on the grapevine, Mac had a big argument with Mike over it because they'd leave it till last minute, and then they were chucking everything at me, to be fair, Mike was. And I said, no, I'm going to Wrexham. And ended up going to Wrexham and doing pre-season, like I say, and then really went up another level. What
were the differences you noticed straight away going to Wrexham, coming away from the Welsh Premier League, in terms of the players, coaching, management? facilities?
Back then, it was the physicality, that you had to be fit. You had to be fit. I weren't always the fittest when I was at TNS in the early years, and then the first few months, I wouldn't say I struggled, but it was a shock. The level of intensity, the level of, I'd say, professionalism as well, was just another step up. The players, not so much technically, but physically were stronger, more demanding. Playing
no hiding place in the dressing room. It was because TNS have always been there's been too much of a nice culture there. When you step away from it and it's like, well, actually, that he's having a go at me, or I think that's sometimes TNS lacks a little bit of guidance, leadership, bit of ownership. That's right.
And like I say, when I left, obviously I was a leader in that and left the void at TNS, but then I went to Wrexham and it was another level again. And those 2.5 years, 3 years, I grew. I grew as a person as well as a player, and really, really understood what it meant to be a professional footballer and a professional basically.
Yeah, and in that time of your life, you'd have met your missus, you'd have met Katie, and she'd have probably got you on, probably a more even keel, family orientated. So you've got to settle down a bit more. You've got to get your head right. You've just got a good move. That helped you.
Yeah, definitely. She did. To be fair, she made me settle down. And kids and now grandkids I got. But back then, she was massive for me. And still is. But like you say, it's. How can I say this? Went there and, like I say, I'd say the penny dropped. So to use a phrase.
29?
No, I was 26. 26.
26. I thought you were a bit older than that.
No. I know I look it, but no. No, I was 26, I think. Yeah, 2006 I went, but it's mad. But like I said, I've been playing really well, like the last couple of years, last say 3 or 4 years, in the Welsh League, and then took the next step, and then obviously it was a step up, like I say, the professionalism and all that. But like I say, I embraced that, and like I say, you go from playing Kevin Druid's old ground, getting changed into it in a 2x2 dressing room, freezing cold, to then 6 months later, 3 months later, walking out for your debut at home against, I think it was Grimsby, and scoring on my debut. It's unbelievable feeling. That's one of the best feelings as well I've had, for my hometown club. Scored a header back stick. Went a little bit crazy with my celebration. And then further down the line, further 3 months, so 6 months from playing in the League of Wales, and then walking out at the racecourse, making my debut for Wales. So,
how did that come about? So very, very short time at Wrexham, you're doing well. Read stuff about Dennis Smith quoted as saying, it's up to you how far you want to go. You've got the chance to do it. Possibly even go and play for Wales. He even said that very early on when he signed you. So he saw something here. He was an excellent player as a Stoke City, good coach, manager, whatever. So he could see something in you anyway, couldn't he?
Yeah, he was really good with me. He used to have chats and that after training, after games. That first season took me a few games to really bed in. But like I say, it's I did well. I did really well that first season. Massive help, Dennis Lawrence. Dennis Lawrence, when I was first went there, you know, how I see myself a leader and a calming influence, he was that to me. So although I'd been that at TNS, I went to Wrexham, and even though I was 26 and experienced age-wise, but not at that level, you know. So that first couple of months was really important to be alongside Dennis Lawrence. Then ultimately he went to Swansea, and then all of a sudden I'm now Dennis Lawrence. I'm the one leading, you know, which I had to do and which I embraced, to be fair, and which, you know, made that leader come out of me even more. As you know, I'm a born winner. I want to win at everything. So
even 2-touch, 1-touch, 2-touch, even head tennis, even we were doing just before we went from TNS, we had the gym sessions, didn't we? And you still beat the other lads, you know, 45 years of age, still beating the other lads.
Not that old, quite. Yeah, it's like it's what you are. You're a winner. That's it.
Yeah, mate, I know. So Wrexham doing well. Rumours about call up for Wales. What happened when you finally got the call up?
Yeah, I won't go into it too much, but yeah, I was. We played on a Saturday for Wrexham, and obviously a few of us were out after, and Wanagati was saying, "Oh, I've been," because he knew Tosh from his time in Spain, and he said, "Oh, I was speaking to Tosh, but you might be getting a thing." I was like, "Oh, okay," and then the next day, I got a phone call off Geraint Parry. Can you come and meet up with the Welsh squad? They were in Carden Park. So, like I said,
how did that feel? Surreal? How did it feel? It must have been like one of the biggest moments that you can.
Yeah, it was unreal. It was like, got off the phone and it's like, did I just really have that conversation?
Yeah.
So I went to my missus. Went to my missus's mum's house. You know, had some food, and then later that night, my missus dropped me off at Carden Park. So I get out and I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. So go into the hotel, go to the desk, ask where my room is. So make my way to my room. Who do I bump into on the landing? John Toshak. I was like, you know, starstruck and whatnot. But like he was great with me. You know, hi, how you doing? All the niceties. So then went to my room, and I was rooming with Joe Ledley. So I get in. I had some food in the afternoon, but I was still starving. I just missed dinner. They just had dinner. So after an hour or so, I was like, "Joe, how do I order some food? I'm starving here." He said, "Oh, just phone up. You'll be able to get some." So I said, "Oh, okay, I'll just order some sandwiches." I said, "Do you want some?" He said, "Oh, yeah, you can do." So I ordered 6 tuna and 6 chicken. Me thinking 6 little triangles. Wrong, two trays of sandwiches. 2 trays of sandwiches, 6 full sandwiches. I was like, oh. So ate a few of them, and then obviously got up in the morning, went for breakfast, went training, did okay in training, weren't really much. You know, back then it weren't like it is now. I'd say the professionalism now, it's, you know, with sports science and all that. It was warm up, a little bit of possession, a little game. And then I got on just about to I can't remember whether I got on the bus, and then we got back to the hotel. I was just about to get off, and John Toshak said to me, "How would you like to play for your country, son?" I said, "I'd fucking love to. Pardon me French." That's what I said. Yeah. So then I just walked off, and I was like a Cheshire cat. Yeah, it was the Monday. We were playing on the Tuesday. And then that was it. And then media then that day, something I weren't used to, in front of the camera and all that. So did all that. And then on the Tuesday, at the game, and like I say, I walked out, stood there for that national anthem, in the line with Bellamy, Giggs, like I said, 6 months earlier, I'd been playing, Kevin Drury, Adam Lido, no disrespect to them, but, on the pitches back then. And then I was stood next to the likes of, like I said, Bellamy, Giggs. I think Bale might have been in there.
How were they with you? How were they with you?
Yeah, sound.
Good.
I think they were thinking. Who's this lad like? I knew a couple of them from the early days, from Nick the under-15s and that.
Yeah.
So it was all right, to be fair. But like I say, that lining up for the anthem, I'd done it for the non-league, and to do it for the full squad was special, and the best moment I've had on a football field, certainly.
How did you get on? How did you do in the game?
Yeah, well, we started the warm up, and all just in a circle, just passing the ball, and as you do, Robbie Earnshaw fired the ball into me. First touch, come off my shin, went over there, and as players,
changes,
testing you. You could just feel it, like, oh, what have we got here? But now, done the warm up and that, played the game, played really well, and just went from there. Really, and like I say, embraced it and loved every minute of it.
And you had 7 caps. Can you remember your best game in a Welsh shirt?
Yeah, probably the Republic of Ireland, Crow Park. Have I told you this story about 72,000 before? No,
Robbie Keane.
Like I said, yeah. Like I say, 7 caps. I was in the squad for 2.5 years. Great experience. Learned so much. When you look back and reflect, you learn so much. You take, like you say, as a coach now, you look back and you take certain things you don't take. But like I say, for me, the experience was unbelievable.
No, it's great, and you'll always have that. You've got your shirts, you've got your caps, you've got your memories. You've won things. Is there a part of you that still thinks, what if? What if I've done it a couple of years earlier? I'd have gone to play for Wales, and then I'd have got to move from Wales. Because you play for Wales, then you get a champ side that comes in for you. Like Dennis did when Dennis went from Wrexham to Swansea. Lee Trundle, Wrexham to Swansea. Do you feel I could have done that?
I don't know how true it is, but there was shouts of Leeds and Swansea as well when in that first season. I don't know how true it is. I didn't have an agent back then, but I think there was definitely people keeping an eye on me, but like I said, nothing come of it. But like I said at the very beginning, if I wouldn't have took that path when I was younger, maybe I would never have played for Wales. So you can go what ifs, certain decisions, possibly, yeah, but what's meant to be will be, But absolutely. I do believe you work your nuts off, you work hard, yeah, you make your own luck as well.
So you'd gone from Wales, you'd gone back to Wrexham. How did coming back to TNS happen? Why did that happen?
Yeah, so played for Wales, Wrexham, obviously one of the worst feelings I've had on a football pitch as well was playing Hereford. I think it was Hereford. When we got relegated for Wrexham, I feel I owe, I'm a Wrexham lad. I feel I still owe them something, because I was part of that team, and they're still in the league now, and it doesn't sit well with me. Like I said, I'm a winner, and that didn't sit well with me. And like I say, not a good time. But like I said, just then you reflect on things, and now I look back, I probably learned more about myself going through that, as a player, when I was a player back then, trying to do other people's jobs, because like I say, I would run, and I'd like to think the fans know I'd run through brick walls for any of my teams. That's what kind of player I was, what kind of person I was. That's what happened, So, and then a few managers come in, Dean Saunders come in, and I thought, oh, we're in a good place here, assistant manager of Wales, but didn't work out. And then, like I say, said I could go, and possibly took the easy option and went back to TNS, whereas I probably should have, if looking back, like you say, them decisions, probably should have just rolled my sleeves up and not knuckled down, but fought for my place a bit more. But it was pretty clear he didn't want me there, so I went back to TNS, and like I say, that's when my second stint lasted.
So then you had a few more years. You were still winning things at TNS, still dominant. Was it 7 in a row? Was it? And then obviously you come into the end of the career. You're doing your coaching qualifications. Did you enjoy getting involved in that? You B, and did you B ready?
Yeah. Well, that was half the reason I come back, because like I say, I'd grown so much in them 2.5 years anyway, as a person as well. And like I said, I've mentioned before, I'm a leader, and I wanted to go into coaching. So that was part of the deal as well, that I got put through my coaching badges. So I come back, and obviously Kayla was manager again. And, I used to, when I was still playing, I used to sit with Kayla, and he'd point things out to me when we're watching games. And it grew from there. Went on the B license, really enjoyed that. And then I was on the A with yourself, which really good. And you think, as a player, you think, oh yeah, I know football,
Very different, isn't it? Totally comfort zone, and
yeah,
you feel like the spotlight is just on yourself. Like
I say, you learn so much. You learn, you go through experiences that you didn't think you'd go through. Like you say, you're out your comfort zone, but it's so rewarding. And like I say, me and you, we worked a number of years with a scholarship, and to see them players develop, and become better players, but more importantly, which was paramount for me and you, were better people, our experiences, worth the weight in gold, and to see them players develop as people as well was superb. And like I say, going through them coaching courses, you learn so much.
You just finished your pro license. How was that?
Yeah, again, one of the toughest things I've ever done. But again, learn so much about yourself, learn so much about, yourself. It's more about leadership and management, and, so like I say, and now I'm at that stage where I feel I'm ready to be a number one. You know, myself and you, great working relationship. I could be hard work at times. You know, with my opinions, but like I say, that hard graft, and like I've said it a couple of times now, the hard work you put in, you will get rewarded.
Yeah, you've got to have that as number one, number two. I mean, we were there, just short of 4 years, weren't we? So our relationship was already been grown, embedded from playing to doing the youth stuff together. It was natural for me and you to go into that role. And I think if you look at the record that we had, it was very good. You know, the 2 leagues, but not just that, the European, the experience I've gained as a manager, about the choices, about formations, about playing against teams that are far better than us. It'll stand us in good stead. It will very much so. You know, we don't have to talk about the league and stuff like that, but being coaching and managing in the Champions League, you know, how many people get to do that at such a young age? So they're my thoughts. I don't know what you know.
Like I've said, it's you go through these experiences, and when you look back and reflect on them, you gain so much knowledge. You know, the Champions League and the Europa, the number of games we won in our period, you know, then first round ties was against superior opposition as well. You know, budget wise, you know, 1.5 mil, 2.5. You know, it's invaluable. You know, and like you said, it will stand us in good stead.
Yeah. So at the moment, we know where we are. We don't have to say where we are or whatever. What are your current aspirations? You know, you've finished the pro. Have you finished the pro now? You finished the course?
Yeah. So
you're ready to. You feel like you're going to be a number one, or at least again another number two, maybe.
Yeah. So like I say, you never rule anything out, do you? But I do feel, you know, the time I spent as assistant, you know, has really put me in a good place now to go and be a number one. You know, would I be a number two again? Yeah, because I feel I've got that experience and know what it takes. You know, but I do feel that I'm in a stage now where I need to be a number one as well. Or I'm ready to be a number one. You know, and you know yourself, being on the pro license is, it just opens your eyes and, you know, gives you so much knowledge, you know, an understanding of what it takes, you know. So, like I said, that's where I'm at, you know. But at the moment, jobs are very scarce, as you know.
No, that's it. It's about timing. It's about taking the right roles. Lots of people say, don't they, choose your chairman, not your club. So it's one where it's very much so. You've got to choose your budgets, your playing staff, your chairman, everything goes with it. You know, so I wish you all the best in that sort of process, because I know how hard it is at the moment looking for roles. But you know, if history is anything to go by, and what you've achieved in your playing career and in your coaching career, then I'm sure it won't be very long, mate. But before we're seeing you in a role, let's move on just to the Euros. Then the Euros are only a few days away. How do you think Wales are going to get on? What are your hopes for Wales?
Yeah, I think they'll. I think they'll do all right. I do. They're very. I've watched them, and I believe they're very good defensively. They're tough to break down. They're tough to break down. You know, we had the honour to watch them train, and the level of detail. You know, and the organisation second to none. And I do believe they'll get through the group stage. I think they'll probably finish second in the group to Italy. But I can't see them conceding many goals.
Where the goal's going to come from, isn't it?
That's the one. But I think it's key that it's a bit obvious, but Joe Allen, Ramsey, I think if them two stay fit, I think it's key. But what they have got, they've got a lot of pace, which is key as well. Especially on the break, on the counter. On the pro, had the honour to do a task on the game, and the first goal. Moments like that, they're just unplayable. And if they can produce moments like that, they'll do all right.
Who are you tipping for winning it? Who can you see being? Give me two teams. Give me two teams.
I think the final will be between Germany and Belgium.
Two top sides, yeah. Belgium.
I watched. What's it called? Germany the other day, and I know they were only against Latvia. No disrespect to Latvia, but
you look at the players, and you look at the players they've got. Like,
I think Germany and Belgium will be in the final.
Just watching bits of Portugal tonight as well. Portugal have got some side, by the way.
I watched them the other day against Spain, and I think Morata is saving them all for the Euros. He could have had a few.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know. I think they'll struggle to get out there. I think they'll finish third in the group.
There's that tough group, isn't there, with those three teams? It's like
Germany. I think it'll be Germany, France, Portugal. That's how it'll finish. Because France are decent. France will do well.
That's always it. Lots of good teams. Last one then, England. What do you think of England? Who would you play? Who would your front three be? They're going on about Grealish and Foden, and for me, I love watching Grealish. He's just off the cuff. He's so strong. He can buy you things. He can create. Foden as well. Foden's he's had a very, very productive season. But who would you go for?
You do know I'm Welsh, don't you? You do know I'm Welsh.
I do know you're Welsh, but I'm moving on to England.
I know. Yeah. Foden, exciting. Kane plays, Foden, then it's just another.
Would you play Rashford or Sterling, or would you play maybe Grealish and another, or Sancho?
I think Grealish has to play in midfield if he does, with Declan Rice.
Right.
Oh yeah, I think Bellingham. He's a player, mate. But I know he's young, but performances he's put in Europe, but there you go. It'd be between one of them two anyway. But like I say, I'll concentrate more on Wales.
Top man, really enjoyed. I think best part of an hour. Like I've said, again, we're talking about people on the podcast that have been there, done it, sustained it, and then going on to hopefully stay in the game in whatever capacity. All those people. I've only done 7 or 8 so far, but they've all been, players that everyone will know in the league. Everyone will aspire to, their best teammates, best people that they've been part of, I'm obviously biased, but like I say about the playing career you've had and the time I spent with you at TNS, fantastic time to spend with you, and it's been also a very good time in the coaching setup as well, mate. So wish you all the best on that one. And no problem. And thanks for your time coming on. So hopefully in the not too distant future, maybe early next season, you sort something out and you get a role that you deserve to get. And I wish you all the best with it.
Yeah. All right. Both of us, mate. Both of us. I think like I say, from my personal point of view, in terms of my career, my experiences, have put me in a real good position to take that next step. But like I say, that's down to yourself, a massive part down to yourself as well. Our working relationship, our friendship, away from football as well, second to none. So I wish you all the best as well, mate, and I'm sure we will speak soon.
We've shared a few good nights out as well. We haven't really covered the nights out, but we have had many a good drink and a conversation. That's for another time.
Yeah, that's for another time. Yourself, Tosh as well, when you're getting him on anyway.
Johnny Lear, too many to mention. That's why I'm trying to get a few real good characters, players, people on the podcast.
Yeah, we've had a good time. Right.
Top man. All the best.
See you later, Scotty, lad.
Top man. See you soon.